Back in 2017, a game came out for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One called NieR Automata. Now, this game got high rankings, got high reviews. Everyone that played it seemed to really like it, but I never really got around to it because I'm a petty person and I thought the name of the game was weird. I know that's a stupid thing, but hey, that's how RGT operates. But NieR Automata has come to the Nintendo Switch. The game will be coming out on October 6th for the platform, and it was a game that I was interested in. It seemed like a game that would fit the Switch in a good manner, considering the fact that there's not a whole lot of games for the system that are in this style of games. I ended up getting a review copy of the game from Square Enix. I played the game for one sitting in 8 hours. I know it's about a 20-hour game, and I have a lot of things I want to say about this game because this game really surprised me, honestly. I'm surprised with how the game itself works, how the story of the game works, and of course, I know a lot of people are going to be interested in the performance of the game running on the Switch because it's kind of one of those games that you look at it and you're like, I feel like the Switch might struggle with this game. So what is NieR Automata for the Switch all about? Is this a game that you need to add into your collection? That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. So if this is your first time on the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share. Hit that bell notification as well. But without any further ado, let's jump into the truth of NieR Automata for the Switch and see if this is a game that you want to add to your collection. So story-wise, NieR Automata has a pretty interesting premise that, upon the surface level, you think, oh, well, I've seen stuff like this before, but as you get further into the game, things get very interesting. You play as a character named 2B, yes, like literally the number 2, with the letter B on it, an android character. You're accompanied by another character called 9S, which is kind of like your assistant, and that helps you out in battle. The Earth has been ravaged by an alien infestation, not like big green alien types, but a foreign infestation, because that's what alien actually means, and you're trying to figure out what's going on with this. As you progress throughout the game, there's all sorts of different characters that you come across within the game. There's these mechanical characters that pretty much inhabit the Earth as it stands now, and you quickly start to realize that some of these characters have memories and feelings and this, that, and the other, and it really makes things very interesting. The further you progress in the game, you come across some humanoid characters named Adam and Eve who have some nefarious things that they want to do on Earth. I don't want to spoil the game too much, and like I said, it's not something that I've finished yet. I played it for about 8 hours. I believe the game runs about 19 or so hours on your first playthrough, and I say your first playthrough because you kind of have to play this game subsequent times in order to get the full story. There's different endings for the game as well. So it's something that I'm enjoying exploring, but like I said, it's a game that's already come out. It's a game that you can find spoilers for the story online already. So I was more interested in how the game actually played. Now, this was a game that was developed by Platinum Games, so that kind of clues you into the gameplay style of how things are going to work in this game. As far as the main gameplay style, because there are some deviations, it's essentially like an action hack and slash game with some RPG elements into it. Most of the time you're spent battling in a traditional battle system for the style of game. You have weak attacks, you have strong attacks. There are different weapons that you can come across within the game. There's different weapons you can buy from various people within the game as well that sort of fit your gameplay style. Your other character, 9S, is basically sort of an automatically controlled character. You can tell them how you want them to fight within the game, like if you want them to be aggressive or under aggressive or more passive or whatever, and you know, that's pretty cool. It gives a little bit of layer strategy to the game. Like I said, there's various weapons that you come across within the game that you could upgrade as well, so I like that. You know, the gameplay itself feels very crisp, the gameplay itself feels very nice, and the combat in the game allows for a lot of combos. There's also a dodge mechanic that you use in the game as well. A perfect dodge will sort of kind of slow down things a little bit and give you a bigger hit window to go against the enemy. I like that. I think it's really fun. You also have this little sort of flying character that is allowing you to sort of shoot things as well, and it could do like a big charge up attack. There are various attacks that you unlock within the game as well. There's actually more playable characters that you get. I'm trying not to spoil too much within the story, but your main characters are 2B and 9S. But what I find interesting about the combat is it's not just always this hack and slash things. There's actually shoot 'em up style segments of the game where you kind of get in like this big winged exoskeleton character that essentially turns the game into a bit of a shoot 'em up, and you have to dodge attacks and do charged up shoot 'em up attacks. I really like that. The game actually starts out in a shoot 'em up segment, and I was like, holy crap, this is really cool. Like, I think they nailed the shoot 'em up mechanic. Plays like a top-down shoot 'em up that you've played before, and I really like that. It helps break up the gameplay that you have within it as well. Now, as far as what you're doing within the map and sort of the traversal system of the game, it's actually a huge freaking map. Like, you go to so many different areas that have different characters, and there's members of like the Resistance that you come across that will help you out and give you missions. There's tons of missions to do. There's tons of side missions to do within the game as well. So the game is not skimpy on content in any way, shape, or form. Some of these different areas that you come across are very different than the other areas. There's like a desert area. That was kind of the area that I saw mostly from this game, and the desert area is fine. It just kind of lacks any sort of, you know, refinement or visual stuff. But the deeper you get into the game, some of these areas that you come across are just absolutely fantastic. Like, the design of them is just stupid good, and how they sort of convey like this post-apocalyptic sort of world. Like the amusement park, for instance, I fell in love with this level. Like, I was just blown away by how gorgeous this was, and sort of the design of the level itself, the characters you come across. You know, of course, there's boss battles within the game as well that both range in the shoot 'em up section and range in the standard hack and slash sections. So there's a lot of stuff going on with this game. I think it's very well done. When your character dies, you can actually come across your character once again and utilize them in battle, other than, you know, sort of retrieving their chipset, which is what you customize as you play throughout the game, or just reviving them and having them sort of fight alongside of you to help you through a more difficult area. So I like that. You know, it sort of gives you a different perspective on the game. The chipset is how you essentially customize your character that will do stronger attacks, focus more on defense. You have the chip meter, which essentially you have to control like how many chips you put into it. And I know it kind of is a bit confusing, but once you play it, it makes sense. You're picking up these things as you come throughout the game. Now, the graphics of the game and of course the performance of the game were something that a lot of people were interested in, because this was a game that ran gorgeously on the other platforms. That was sort of the main thing about this game. Now, the game does not run at 60 frames per second. I believe it runs at more like 30 frames per second, but not having any previous knowledge of playing the game on other platforms, I really didn't have a problem with this. Like, it still felt really good. I never felt like I was getting hit in combat or I was being detracted in combat because of the fact that the game ran at 30 frames per second instead of 60 frames per second. If you played it on the other consoles, though, I think it would be a bit of an adjustment. The graphics themselves look great. Like, this is one of the most impressive looking Nintendo Switch games. You know, I just made a video talking about impressive Nintendo Switch ports, and I think you got to put this game right up alongside of those games. Virtuos handled this Nintendo Switch port, and they did an absolutely fantastic job. The fact that this game is going to have a physical edition as well really goes to show you like the amount of time and care that went into this port. Now, as far as what my complaints are with the game, I do have a few. I feel like there's a few things within the gameplay that aren't explained like super well. Like the aforementioned chip system, I don't think they do a great job of sort of telling you how it kind of works, because you kind of got to fiddle around with it on your own. There's a few things within the game that I feel like they could have explained a little bit better as far as how they work, the customization of your character that you have to do and stuff like that, using certain items and what certain items do that are kind of like boosts within the battle themselves. And there is a little bit of slowdown from time to time within this game. I really didn't notice it all that much, but there was a few areas where I would be walking in an area of the environment, which is very gorgeous. You know, like I said, it constantly changes as far as the different areas are in. I remember there was a waterfall and there were some characters that were on the screen as well, and the game kind of did come to a bit of a sluggish slowdown. But those parts are few and far between within this game. I really didn't have many problems with the performance of it whatsoever. So overall, it's the type of game where it's like, okay, if you have a PlayStation 4, you have an Xbox One, you've probably played this game. And if you haven't played this game, it's definitely a game worth playing. I'm absolutely in love with this game. But if you only own a Nintendo Switch, I think this version of the game is stellar. Like, it runs good, it looks good, it plays good, and it's the type of game that there's not a lot of these sorts of games on the Switch. It's a game that kind of stands out from the rest of the pack. There's a ton of content, there's a ton of DLC that you can access within this game as well. Very impressive game. I'm absolutely in love with it. I can't wait to finish it. You know, I'll probably finish it today or tomorrow because I'm kind of really invested in the game, but I kind of just wanted to give you guys a general impressions video of this game because I feel like I said, you know, this is a game that's been out on other platforms before. So if you're a big fan of it, you probably understand what's going on, but I think most people are going to be interested in the performance side, the technical side of things. You've been seeing the gameplay footage here that I captured myself, so kind of do with it as you will. But for me personally, an excellent game, probably one of those games where I get a review copy and buy a physical edition anyways, because you got to support these companies, man. We don't want this cloud nonsense on the Switch. We want these native ports on the system. So let me know in the comment section down below if you've ever played NieR Automata before, what platform you played it on. If not, if you plan on picking up this Nintendo Switch version when it comes out. Huge thank you to Square Enix for sending over a review copy of this game. Definitely very impressive. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share. Hit the bell notification as well. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.